Today we're working on a 2005 Ford Mustang, and we've found that the Mustang has a broken coil spring on the left front. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the front strut, replace the broken spring with a new one that we've purchased. I've got the tools all laid out. Turns out there's only 14 bolts that have to be removed for this whole project. And we're going to be using the breaker bar and or the impact wrench, a handheld 1/2-inch drive socket with two different long reach sockets, a 21 and 18 millimeter, and then a short socket wrench with a 10 millimeter and a 13 millimeter. And that's all we're going to need to get this project going. Alright, we've already removed the front wheel, so 5 of the bolts that came off are right there. The other 4 bolts that come off are here for the top of the strut mount, but that's the last thing we're going to do. First, we're going to be working underneath. We have a 13 millimeter bolt that holds, or sorry, 10 millimeter bolt that holds the brake line on. We've here remove that like this. There. And we have 3 bolts left down here. We have the 2 strut to steering knuckle bolts and the strut bolt that connects to the front torsion bar. Alright, we've got the steering knuckle separated from the strut. The 2 bolts went through here. We've got the brake line removed from the back of the strut, and we've got the torsion bar connector removed from the top of the strut. Now, we just need to do the 4 strut mount bolts on top, and the entire strut assembly will drop straight out the bottom of the strut tower, and then we can remove the spring and replace it. Compressor and removed the old spring from the strut housing assembly, and you can see at the end where the spring has broken off, we've lost almost a complete coil of the spring. So now we're going to compress the new spring and install it onto the strut assembly. Got the strut assembly repaired. The new spring is in place, the new strut mount and bearing has been placed, the nut on top has been torqued down. Everything's lined up like it's supposed to be on the bottom on the spring and on the top on the spring. And now we've got the arrow pointing toward the outside of the vehicle. It's just a matter of swinging the strut up into place so that the 4 mounting screws come up through these 4 holes here. Need to get a couple bolts on. Alright, I'm holding it up while he's screwing the retaining nuts into place. We're going to get a couple of those in place, and then I'll be able to let go of this, and we'll tighten those up. Alright. Alright, the nuts are in place, just finger tight. We're going to tighten them up with a 13 millimeter wrench. We'll just do a little cross pattern here until they're nice and tight. We'll do a final tightening when we're all done getting the bottom part secured. But we're just doing them up really snug right now. There we go. Now you can see we've slid the strut assembly up through the strut tower into position. Now we have the bottom steering knuckle mount here. We're going to give it a little twist and turn that straight, and then this steering knuckle is going to slide up into place between those 2 halves. Alright, we have tucked the brake line back behind the strut in its proper location. We have not put the bolt in yet though, but we lined up the retainer bolt using this short wrench as a pilot tool to get it lined up in the hole. Then we fed the bolt through. And we have 1 more bolt to go through on the bottom here. Let's see if that's lined up or not. A little rocking back and forth to make it work. There it is. And that one's in too. So now we've got nuts to put on the back side of both those. Put the bolt back in for the brake line. And then 1 bolt to hold this steering torsion bar bracket in place. And the project will be done. Alright, the final step is to get the torsion arm control rod back into this hole right here. And we had to actually insert a jack underneath the lower control arm, raise it up about 4 inches so that this hole lines up with the position of the torsion arm. And now we push it around back, pop it in, and install the nut and torque it down to the proper foot-pounds. We will reinstall the wheel, and this project is done. You can do it yourself and save a lot of money. Alright, here we are just finishing up. We've inspected everything one last time, torqued down all the bolts and nuts to the proper specification, and we're installing the wheel and rim assembly now. And we've just got a couple more little things to tighten up here, and we'll be all set. As soon as these 5 lug bolts are torqued down, we're going to drop it down off the jack, take it for a test drive, and see how she handles. Alright, here we're going to take this socket wrench, and we're going to snug that up, and then we're going to go across, skipping over one and going to the next one. Same thing here, skip one and go this way. Skip this one and go here. And then skip one and go here. That way you get an even tightening all the way around. Now we're going to lower the car off the jack so that the weight of the car will hold the wheel steady while we do the final torque on the lug nuts. Put your hand out like you're doing if you want. Ready? Yeah. All finished up with the project here. You can hear the car is running. We're going to put the hood down. There we go, and boom. And we finished it up. We paid $30 for the spring. It was broken to get a new one. And we had all the tools other than that we needed. We did replace the strut bearing while we were in there, the mounting clutch bracket and bearing. That was an extra $50. Did it ourselves, took a couple hours total, start to finish. You could do it too. Save some money, get it done yourself, and feel accomplishment when you're done. Check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.